Hey guys, it's Meg. I am back this week with a new video for you. This is going to be our standard tarot reading for the week. So if you guys are interested in sticking around for the message from the cards, I'm very excited to be here to give it to you. So yeah, tuck in, grab a comforting beverage, maybe a blanket, and we will get started in a moment with the reading. Before I do, however, I do want to make mention that if you guys like what you see in the video, please go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the bell buttons so you can get in the loop for when I post new work. I have also included links to my social media as well as my website, so if you want to get in touch with me outside of YouTube, you totally can. And I am also going to be including a breakdown of the cards that I pull for this reading, specifically the tarot, but I am planning on using some oracle decks for this reading as well, which you will see as I get this reading, as I get through this reading. So on that note, everything will be listed, every deck that I use will be listed in the description as well. So yeah, everything you need to get in touch with me and keep track of the resources I'm using will be in the description. So I need to admit, last thing I promise. I need to admit that this is a refilm of the earlier video I had done, so if you are coming back from my Instagram, this video is going to be a little bit different from that, and for those of you just tuning in, I was actually trying to film a live video for my Instagram as well as a video for my YouTube. I don't know that that format is necessarily working very well, so we're going to go back to the original format. So let's get started. Finally, we're going to start with the Energy Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. What I want to do with the oracles is get a read on kind of the energy or what we should be focusing on for that. I'm going to take multiple cards, specifically a card from the middle, a card from the top and the bottom, and we shall see what kind of theme or what kind of idea we need to focus on. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a card from each of my oracles and then we'll read them all together. So give me a minute. First card out from the Energy Oracle. The second card I'm going to be pulling is from the Gateway Oracle by Denise Linn. Okay. Well, let's get into that. So the Gateway Oracle and one other. Okay, we've got two coming out from that, so we're going to read both. This is the Gateway Oracle, and we also have the Archangel Animal by, who was it by? Diana Cooper. So we will be doing that as well. Okay, sorry, I have a pile of the card boxes in back of my computer, and it's getting a little precarious, so hopefully nothing falls. But we shall see what comes up from that. Okay. And finally, we are going to take a card from the Moonology Oracle by Yasmine Boland. So, alrighty. Ooh. All right. So here we go. Let's see what we have in terms of our oracles. From the Moonology, we have the North Node. This is asking us to step out of our comfort zone. Okay. Okay, so from the Archangel Animal Oracle, we have the bee. This is asking us to spread heart healing with joy. Okay. And from the Gateway Oracle, we have accepting what is. And the quote for that is, I accept and embrace my inner majesty. And we also have renewing your life. Radiant vitality is filling my life. And as you can see, there's someone pushing a box of clutter over the edge. Okay. And finally, from the Energy Oracle, we have contracts. So this tends to be about legal partnerships or something, excuse me, that you've entered into that is requiring an obligation from you. Given that we have these other cards coming out here, I'm going to interpret this as you're making a promise to yourself to do some work on yourself. And I'm getting there because you are removing the clutter. You're getting rid of the clutter. Okay, again, you're pushing it over the edge. You're getting rid of it. And this is making space for your internal light to shine through. Your majesty is coming through, and it's very much about letting your light shine, so you can spread your healing light through that world. Okay, you know, you have this light that perhaps is being overshadowed by this clutter. Okay, and I feel like the promise you are making to yourself is to get rid of that, so you can spread your joy and your healing abilities. And in order to do that, you have to take a step out of your comfort zone. You have to take a leap of faith. Okay, and you know, whatever that looks like for you. Whatever that might look like for you, this has become necessary to do. Okay, so there's the North Node. So with that in mind, I want to get into the tarots. We're gonna do the usual gig here. We're gonna get 5 cards, 3 from the middle, clarifying and hidden energies. Excuse me. And we're going to see how best to embrace the theme of this reading. We're going to see what we can do to step out of our comfort zone so that we can actually see the obligation we're making to ourselves. We can actually see that goal through. Okay. So, how do we best make use of our talents, skills, whether these be unknown or known? How do we make the best use of these to fulfill our promise to ourselves? Okay. First card, we have the Hermit. So we know the light of our truth. We know what we're about. We know how we know the path we're following. Okay, and we've had a long time on that. We've had a long time to figure out what this means for us, how we can use the energy we're gaining during this time. Because remember that you have, again, going back to your inner light, you've taken the time away to recharge and relight that lamp. And the promise, the obligation you're making to yourself is that you are choosing to do that work because you have this thing, you know, deep down, and you're rooted in this. What is that thing I'm postulating that you have? It's your light. It's what you can give the world, and if you're being called to heal it, the best way to start doing that is to take some time out to evaluate your personal truths and use that to let your light shine when you do come back into society. Okay, so there's a Hermit. Okay, we also have the Eight of Acorns. So the Eight of Acorns, this is Wands in this case, and you have a lot that is coming towards you. Yeah, you have a lot that is coming towards you. There's a lot of movement you're being asked to make. You know, there's a lot of information. So I'm getting it's best that you pay attention and stay on your toes, because again, a lot of information is coming at you. A lot of transitional energy might be coming to you as well. Again, the key word that I want you to focus on is energy, because you've taken some time to recharge that. And now that you have this obligation to yourself to move it forward, it's going to come, that time is going to come where you're going to have to pay very close attention to what's happening around you, so that this energy can be used to its best intent, if that makes any sense. So yeah, there's the Eight of Acorns, or the Eight of Wands. Okay, we also have, we also have the Queen of Shells, or the Queen of Cups. Let me look at that. Yep, Queen of Cups. So there's a very nurturing, very motherly energy around you, and specifically what you are nurturing is an emotional, is the emotions in yourself and in other people. I feel like this is particularly important to tap into right now, because you're being asked to pay attention to what you're feeling. You're being asked to pay attention to what's going on around you, okay? And the more deeply you tap into that, the more deeply you let yourself feel what you're going to feel, whether it's good or bad, whether it's negative or positive. You're being asked to tap into what you feel. Remember that you've obligated yourself to letting your light shine, to healing the world through that. And you can't do that if you don't know how you're feeling. You can't do that if you don't take care of yourself too. So yeah, know your truth, pay attention to what you're feeling, what's going on around you, and we'll see what emotions or what kinds of energies come up for you during this time. Hidden energy, we have the Ace of Feathers, so the Ace of Swords is coming up. So there's going to be a shift in perspective. There's a likelihood that you are going to have your mindset change about certain things. And this is interesting to me because it's interesting and it works out. I'm going to say it that way because you've done this work here. You've done the reflecting, you've done the recharging. And now that your light is shining so much brighter now, you're going to see that things you thought you knew weren't exactly what they seemed in the first place. Whether that, it doesn't have to be, I think the risk in internalizing it is that you get saddened and disillusioned by that, and maybe that's the case. I'm going to draw some clarifying energy in a minute, but a shift in perspective is on the cusp of happening, and you know, it might not feel comfortable in the moment that it happens, but I am sensing that it's going to be for the best good for you. So let's see what comes up after this. So the Ace of Feathers or the Ace of Swords is our hidden energy. So to clarify that, we have the Empress. We have the Empress. I love it because you have gained wisdom and experience from doing this work, okay? Yes, you've gained wisdom and experience from doing the reflecting, okay? And I think it's very apropos that you got the Ace of Feathers as a perspective shift, because nothing, this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't done the work to get here, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I did want to mention that the deck I was using just now is the Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. Okay, so we are going to move into another tarot deck. I'm going to use the Ethereal Visions Tarot by Matt Hughes. We want to clarify a little bit further what's going on with each of these cards. Okay, so hang in there with me. I'm going to get into the deck, and we're gonna get some energies to clarify. So to start, we have the Hermit, okay. And also, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, I do welcome the feedback. So please let me know in the comments. And if you know anything differently about each of the cards I'm pulling, please feel free to share your interpretation if you feel safe to do so. Okay, so to clarify the Hermit, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this retreat that you are doing is going to require you to juggle some things. Perhaps there is a perhaps there's some, okay, I'm gonna put it like this. Perhaps there is a call for you to weigh the pros and cons of doing this work. You're weighing the pros and cons, and stepping back, certainly stepping back to do some reflecting is going to help you reflect, obviously, because you're not going to be bothered in doing this work, okay? But it's going to require juggling. Maybe this is you tapping into some personal, what's the word I'm looking for here? Some personal things that you didn't necessarily want to address. Okay, and it's a little scary because look at what this character, look at the position they're in. They're not comfortable dipping their toe into the water just yet. You know, that there's some things that there's some things that you may need to address that you might be afraid of addressing. Okay, and in order to do that, you know, again, tap into that Hermit energy, and you know, do the reflecting. Okay, so there's the Two of Pentacles. Okay, we also have the Emperor. So this two of Pentacles energy has you feeling some kind of chaos about it. Again, because there's some emotions that are being brought up again that you don't want to address. You might be feeling chaotic, you might be feeling nervous, and that's okay. That's perfectly valid. But you know you have the ability to take that chaos and order it into a way that makes sense for you. Okay? You have, you have this ability and you have this talent, and it will serve you if you allow it to work in you. Okay? Again, going back to your contract with yourself, if you want to let your light shine, this has got to play a part in it. Okay? So, there is the Emperor. Okay? To clarify our Eight of Acorns, or our Eight of Swords, we have the Four of Pentacles. So there's a need for you to open up a little bit and let go. Open up. If you want to tap into that Emperor energy, you can't be hunched over. Yeah, stand a little taller. Even if you have to practice doing that in the mirror, right? You're being called to open up and to let go, perhaps, of personal biases in your situation, okay? We already know that there's going to be a shift in perspective. Maybe what you're closing down over is just the thing that you need to look at again. Again, cringy, uncomfortable, not the drama, not what you want to do, okay? But, it's time to open up. And perhaps, because we've gotten cards from the Suit of Pentacles twice in a row here, the Two of Pentacles and now the Four, maybe there is something you're risking losing in terms of your money and finances if you really want to fulfill your contract with yourself, okay? And that's scary. I believe you. Trust me, I believe you. But remember that in order to tap into your Emperor energy, you need to pay attention what's going on around you. And eventually you're going to need to start acting the part of the Emperor. Because remember, you're being asked to order your own chaos. And you can't do that if you're afraid to address it. Okay? So there's the Four of Pentacles. Okay? We also have the Six of Cups. So you could be feeling nostalgic. You could be wanting to go back to an easier time. I had a good childhood. And I know that might not be the reality for you watching this, but for me, I always think of going home, reconnecting. Okay? There's something in you that desires reconnecting. And whether or not that is actual childhood, or whether or not that is going back to a sense of comfort. Maybe this is a comfort zone you've chosen to leave behind. You're still desirous of going back to that connection. Okay? I'm getting inner child work, so maybe you are looking to connect with that energy you had as a child. And I know a lot of my personal readings have to do with that. But there will be a chance to do that. However, again, remember, you have the Four of Pentacles here. You can't reconnect. You can't do this reconnecting if you don't open up to it. Okay? So all in all, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of maybe a fear of change, okay? But you have to pay attention to that fear. Again, pay attention. And I'm getting a sense of fear because the coins, the Suit of Coins, are earth energy. And that fear, You know, it's bringing up a lot of emotion. So we have the Six of Cups. There's a lot of growing, yeah, a lot of growing nerves and anxiety in that. Okay. Again, going back to the Eight of Acorns or the Eight of Swords, pay attention to what is triggering you about that. Pay attention to what's bringing up this emotion, this fear. Okay. That'll probably give you clues as to what you need to do next, okay? So, to clarify the Queen of Shells, okay, Queen of Shells, we have Justice. This card, so I did a couple of personal readings earlier in the day, and 2 of my clients actually got this card. And so I feel like, at least collectively, this is significant because we're calling to rebalance, and we're calling to take responsibility for past behaviors. We're being asked to acknowledge our past behaviors and take responsibility for what we've done. Okay. Now, this Queen of Shells, I always equate with the mother. Like I think I said that earlier when I got this in the reading. There's a nurturing energy with this card, and I do believe that we have a very kind, gentle energy in the space right now. And that's helpful because doing this, again, might be having us ask, it might be having us address things we don't want to address. We are capable, we as humans are capable of good things, of doing bad things, of doing absolutely hideous things to each other, okay? And we'll answer for it. We'll answer for all of it at some point, okay? But we, in the meantime, we need to look at what we have in our space right now and take responsibility and acknowledgement for that, okay? We need to nurture and work to understand whatever emotions this is bringing up, okay? So there is Justice. We also have the Five of Pentacles. Again, this is a card that came out multiple times for my clients. In that we need to come in and ask for help. I feel like this is an overwhelming, scary, painful time for a lot of us, and it will likely continue for that. But the trick to remember with this is that we can come inside. We don't have to stay out in the cold. There's generous, what did I say about the queen energies? There's a generous, nurturing, loving, caring energy with this card, the Queen of Shells here. You don't have to do this work by yourself, okay? Come in and ask for help, okay? You know what? You are not Elsa from Frozen. The cold probably does bother you. Come inside. It's warmer inside, okay? So yeah, there's the Five of Pentacles. All right. To clarify our Ace of Feathers, our Ace of Swords, we have the Hermit, okay? Remember your truth. Remember the light of your truth, okay? You are going to let that shine. You are walking your own path. Maybe there is some pressure and some nervousness around you there's pressure from others on your shoulders to do a certain thing or to be a certain way. And perhaps at one point you thought, well, how malicious, how wrong. You know, I'm not these people. You're right, you're not these people. You already know that. You don't need to let that part of yourself shout, okay? Because you already know that truth, okay? In this case, you know, you're walking your own path. Take that pressure off. You know, this shift in perspective is, you know, these people potentially are not being malicious. They just want the best for you, especially if they're, I'm going to insert personal experience here, even though I probably shouldn't, but I do have family members who have, you know, less than kindly explained their expectations of me. And these people have not been, like, yes, they're my family members, I know who they are, but they didn't, you know, I'm not their blood. I wasn't raised in their family or in their homes. I was raised in my parents' home. I know my parents' expectations of me. Instead of getting mad, instead of ranting, raving about how there's all of this pressure on my shoulders because of these other family members, you know, I would always say, well, how mean, how rude, blah, blah, blah. No, they were saying what they were saying because they do care and they want the best, okay? Maybe you are in that place, and maybe you have had to allow a shift to happen. Because whereas before you might have seen this pressure as unnecessarily given, perhaps it was given to you because these other people care. But you know your truth. You know the expectations you have for yourself. And that is the path that you can safely follow. Okay, it's not the paths of these other people. It's not the lives of these other people you're living. You're living your truth. And you're walking your path. And going back to the oracles, if your contract, if your obligation and promise to yourself is to let your light shine, shifting your perspective on these outside expectations and knowing that your path is the safest for you to follow. There it is. And there it is. Okay? So there's the Hermit. We have also the Knight of Cups as our clarifying energy. So it's time to take action on those emotions you're feeling. It's time to address those emotions you're feeling. Is the pressure that I'm feeling, is the pressure of these expectations really worth the emotion I'm feeling over it? Does it matter what other people say, feel, expect of me? Am I going to disappoint these other people? Probably. Probably. Does that mean they need to stick around? No. No. If they're really that upset with you that they walk away, they were never meant to be in your space to begin with. Okay? You know, I'm going to leave it there because, again, you know your truth. You know the expectations of people. You know the expectations of others. However, they're not walking your path and you're not walking theirs. So take action on the emotions you're feeling right now. Pay attention to what those are and take action on them when they arise. Okay? Okay? And finally, to clarify, we have the Empress. So you've done all this work. You've sat back, you've reflected, you've figured out a way to let your light shine. What do we need to know now? What can we do? What's the final product? Okay? Is there a final product? I don't know. My gut instinct is telling me probably not. Because all of this moves in cycles and again, we're pushing clutter off a cliff. Remember, we got that in our oracle reading. Okay. So, all right. So to start clarifying the Empress, we have the Ace of Wands. Something new is inspiring you. Something new is starting to grow. Okay? And I like that we're finally allowing the room for this to happen, because it's time. It's time. Your ground's been fallow for a long time. Something new is growing. And in fact, I gave this metaphor to another one of my clients here. You've watered your field and you've made it work for you because you realize that the field you have is nobody else's. Okay? The field you have is nobody else's. You need to water it. You need to tend it. You need to do the work for what's possibly going to grow there. And if you stick with it long enough, you're going to see results. Okay? You've done the work. You've watered your field. You've planted the seeds. You're going to turn the soil over, and you're going to find new and rich places to grow your ideas and grow your ideas. Grow your ideas and inspirations. Okay? So there is the Ace of Wands. Okay? And we also have the Six of Wands. People are going to see the work you're doing. People are going to acknowledge that work you're doing because, let me be real, this isn't easy. Nothing about this pile of cards and the message that I'm giving you is easy. Okay, it's a cycle, and it's a cycle that only stops when your energy changes around. What I mean by that is when you finally come to the end of your life, it will be acknowledged. The work you do in this life will be acknowledged. Now, I'm not trying to, I'm not even going to finish that thought because I don't have a safe way of completing that. But the fact that you've let your power, and I'm getting to that because the Empress is an authority figure, or the way I see them as authority figures. You've done this work. You've rested in your power. You've let yourself understand. You've let yourself come to understanding. You have grown, okay? And you will be acknowledged for it, okay? So, there was the main part of the reading. I'm going to get into the Cosmic Tarot by Norbert Loesche. Let me show you the box instead of cards, because that was non-specific. Here's the box. I'm going to get some final cards, get a reading on the final message, and then we will close it out. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone watching this video. If you've made it this far, I love you, and I hope it's resonating with you. Again, you know where to go if you guys want to see more from me. So let's see what our final message for this reading will be. Okay. So we have the World. So things are cycling through. Things are ending as new things are beginning. And it is, that's important and that's special because, again, remember what I said about cycles. It's not going to, the process of reflecting and allowing a perspective shift to happen, it's ongoing. Just when you think something is ending, something new is gonna start. Maybe that something new is amazing and you never want it to end. Maybe it's hard and you just want it to get over and done with ASAP, okay? Either way, you are being asked to allow this energy to move and to change as it will. Okay? So there is the World. We also have the Eight of Pentacles. Remember how I said you were going to be acknowledged? You've worked. You have worked. Of course you have earned that Six of Wands energy. Of course you have earned. You've earned it. Whatever that it thing is for you, you've done the work. You've passed the time. You've lost yourself in that process. And now that you're coming back out of it, you're realizing that it's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. Because once you do, no, it might not be your energy anymore, but it will be energy the world needs to have. It'll be energy the world needs to have, okay? We also have the Four of Swords. Give yourself a break. Take it easy. You deserve the break. You deserve it. Because heck yeah. What did I just say? Okay. So let me shuffle again. We're going to get our final hidden and final clarifying energies. And we will say goodbye until next week. Yeah, you've worked for this too. The Ten of Pentacles, you have what it takes to take care of yourself and others. You have plenty more besides that. Okay? So yeah, you've worked hard for this. This is your hidden energy. Very good, very good. Ten of Pentacles. And finally we have the Ten of Swords. Again, endings. I don't necessarily want to say that something has ended suddenly. Again, going back to this, there's endings here. This might have been a painful ending at one point, but you know what? You're at a point where you can just shrug off the bullshit. Because I'm feeling compelled to say this is representative of people who don't want to see you glow up. They don't want to see you, they don't want to see you thrive. These are sad, miserable people who, again, don't deserve to be in your space anyway. Okay? They can go. They can go. Let them go. They're not it. Let them go. Yeah, they're not it. You're making space. You're shoving that clutter box off a cliff and you're letting it fall. It's fine. Because you know what? You've done the work. You've done the work to get yourself here. And you need to pat yourself on the back for that. Okay. So, that is it for this reading, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys so much, and I hope this helped. I will be back next week with a new reading, but in the meantime, get in touch if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I love you guys. Stay safe. Bye, everybody.